Hi, I'm the PC Expert Amateur, and we're going to take a look at the SilverStone Air Penetrator 120i Pro. And this one I've kind of got mixed feelings about, and I'll explain why as we're going along with this. It is very interesting in some respects, however. So let's get started. So you can see there are 9 blades. Now, if you look carefully at those 9 blades, you might be able to notice that there's actually let me see if I can help to make sure you can see it. All right, if you look at that blade there, and then 1, 2, 3 more over this blade here, and then the blade at the bottom right, oh my gosh, my finger, right there. Every third blade, you'll notice it looks like it's deformed, but it's not, because if you look at the blade next to it, such as this one, you can see that it's also deformed, but to a lesser degree. So that's actually a pattern that's repeated through all 9 blades, is that one blade has this blunted tip and it's bent in, and then the second one is less bent in, right? So we see this one here, and then we see this one's less bent in, and this last one looks normal. And then we go back to another one that's really bent in, and one that's a little bit bent in, and one that looks pretty normal. So this is some kind of, I don't know. I've not seen this with my other fans, so I was a little bit surprised. I thought it was damaged, and then I realized, no, that's deliberate. So that's interesting. I'm not so excited about this side, because that's a lot of barrier. That's a lot of reduction in performance with that much. I mean, if I were not using this for testing purposes and I wanted to put this in my computer, frankly, I would remove most of these so that there'd be more airflow. I understand that they have a reason for it, and that is to promote a particular pattern of airflow, but I'm not really sure whether it works or not. But we're going to find out. This is a PWM fan, and it does have 0 rotation possibility. So up to 2,000 RPMs. And it's supposed to be pretty powerful. That's why I chose this one. Out of all the SilverStones I have, this is the most powerful one that I'm aware of. The other ones were like 1.5, something like that, 1.9 maybe. So this one's like 2.5 millimeters of water for the pressure. So let's find out. And again, I want to see where the air is actually going with this one, because usually with a lot of fans, most of the fans anyways, I notice that the air comes out either straight or it forms a cone, and in the middle there's very little air in this that's coming out of this area. It's mostly coming off the tips. So there's an empty cone of air. Now this one is pretty straight. There's a very slight increase in the size of the cone as it expands away, and the pressure is pretty good because I can feel it pretty decently this far away. So that's like almost a foot of distance between the fan and my hand where I can feel it. And but I'm also feeling that there is actually flow in the middle. It's not all coming off the ends of the blades. So that's really interesting. And again, I would remove most of the extra, whatever you want to call these, struts or whatever, just because they're in the way of some extra performance that I'd like to get out of this fan. But let's go ahead and back this down, since this is supposed to be a 0 RPM fan. I mean, you can make any fan go to 0 just by dropping the voltage or low enough. So I'm wondering if the difference or the different blade designs are there to help with reducing weird noises, or if they're to help with the pattern, or maybe both, because it doesn't really say on here. It does say mixed fan blade design for noise reduction. Okay, so that's the primary goal there, is maybe get rid of the harmonics and weird noises. Now, just because it's a 0 RPM fan doesn't mean it starts right away. It does need about, I believe, 7 volts, but I can drop it down now. And it's not, oh no, it's stopping. Don't stop. Jiminy crickets. Yeah, right around there. That's the minimum I can get it before it starts stalling. So let's go ahead and start speeding it up. I am hearing a little bit of ticking. I'm not sure if that's the ball bearings. Wow, it's very noisy. I don't think the noise reduction quite worked in terms of stray noises like harmonics and stuff, because I'm picking up just ever so slightly these little noises that I shouldn't be hearing from this fan. And it is also a very loud fan for only being 2,000 RPMs, and keeping in mind that this is 2,100 RPMs. So this is our benchmark that I use with all of my reviews, because the A12x25 is highly regarded by a lot of people. Sometimes I think a little bit too highly regarded, but it does have amazing bearings. And that is something. So let's find out what happens in terms of the comparison in noise. Can hear the Noctua, but the SilverStone is definitely louder. And again, removing some of these extra struts will reduce the amount of noise this fan is producing, because the more obstructions there are, the more the air is clashing with the barriers, and that produces unnecessary noise. So I mean, the SilverStone really makes the Noctua seem fairly quiet, although I have to say the Noctua has that high-pitched whine, and mostly what I'm hearing from the SilverStone is just the wind. So that is something to say for whatever it is about this that is taking out that other noise. I find it's an intriguing design. I don't know if they took it anywhere after they did this fan, or if they decided it wasn't worth it to pursue it, because I just don't have enough experience at this point with SilverStone, and they've got so many products. They've been around for quite some time, I believe. So what can we use this fan for? Cases, definitely. Air coolers, yes. You could put it on some water coolers. If the radiator isn't too dense and too thick, then it would be fine. But most of the more modern radiators, they're going for density and or thickness. So this would be kind of too weak, and I would go for something as strong as you are willing to put on there to really maximize the results. I mean, there's a point of diminishing returns, of course, but it definitely makes a difference when you have, say, a 7 millimeter water static pressure fan versus a 2.5 millimeter one. So, but yeah, this is not bad. But again, if I were going to use it, I'd remove most of those struts. I think I would consult Silverstone and say, hey, I'm not happy with all the extra struts. I want more performance. So how many can I safely remove? How many should I keep per however many I remove? Like, can I do it 2-to-1? Can I take 3 out and leave 1 in? Can I, do I have to do like 2 in, 2 out? It'd be nice to know that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the specs. All right, so it's the SilverStone 120i Pro Air Penetrator, or the SST-AP120i Pro. And, it's not particularly beautiful, but, the grill does provide a little bit of an effect there. If I were very artistic, I'd probably try to use my rotary tool to cut the grill in such a way that there was an interesting design in there. But I don't have that kind of a skill set. I'll leave that to people like Snackson, who does some really amazing work on her cases. Let's see. And it's certified by CE and ROHS, same as the Noctua, a 12x25. It's made in China, 120 by 25. 70,000 hours versus more than 150,000 for the Noctua. Only a year warranty versus Noctua's 6. And 160 grams versus the Noctua's 200. 9 blades, same as the Noctua. 0 to 2,000 RPMs versus the Noctua's 450 to 2,000. But let's be honest here. It doesn't do 0 to 2,000. Okay? I have to protest that. Okay, so the best that I could get this to do was 620 RPMs, maximum of 2,000, and it was pretty much spot on the 2,000. So it's the accuracy seems to be pretty decent. It has a 10% possible variance, plus or minus, and again, it does do 0 RPMs in theory, but in reality, no. Every fan does 0 RPMs. There is a specific reason why some companies can claim that their fans do 0 RPMs, and it's because they've got something additional built in that protects the fan from brownout conditions. Not all fans do, although all fans will stop working at a low enough level of electricity. Maximum airflow is 74, which is not bad compared to the Noctua's 102.1, and 2.52 static pressure versus the 2.34 of the Noctua. And both of those numbers would definitely be higher, given the fact that both of these run at approximately the same speed of 2,000, although my Noctua runs at around 2,100, except for the fact that they have made it harder for the fan to do its job by adding in all that the extra struts. And yeah, so Silverstone, why? The volume range goes from 0 to 38.9, which is definitely not correct. Of course, the 0 is way too low for 600 and some. It's probably like 5 or something like that. So that's definitely a false one. I would say the 38.9 might be accurate, may even be a little bit too high. The fan's cable is 51 centimeters, no daisy chaining, no sleeve. PWM, dual ball bearing, 12 volts, 7 volts to start, 2.52 watts, and 0.21 amps. It does have indicators for rotation and flow, including words, and it rotates in a clockwise manner. It has both 4 screws and 4 rubber pins. Unfortunately, it does not come with corner cushions. And that is it. I'd like to thank Grindler at Bleeping Computer for allowing me to share my videos and posts on his website. Bleeping Computer has a lot of resources, including vetted programs,
malware removal instructions, malware removal volunteers, other kinds of volunteers for IT, cybersecurity information, and more. It's a great place to go. Give it a try. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.